In response to my latest video on masking fluid and 10 crazy tools, I'm responding to 3 very important questions, and I'm so glad they came up. Using soap and or soapy water is crucial if you're using a brush. So you're asking why? No matter what brand of traditional masking fluid you're using, it's still a liquid latex. It dries into a rubbery film that can be rubbed off with your fingers or peeled off the paper. But it doesn't come out of your brush if you haven't prepared your brush first. Firstly, never use a brush of value. If you love it, then don't use it. Use an old brush or buy yourself a whole pack of brushes from the dollar shop for $1 and keep them for masking fluid. So this is how the damage happens. Here I have a dry brush and I'm dipping it into the masking fluid. And then the doorbell rings. Oh no! It only takes 60 seconds or less for the masking fluid to start drying and killing your brush. When you get back to your brush, it's doomed. Now, preventing all this is easy. All we have to do is add a little bit of dishwashing liquid to a jar of water. After washing your brush, you dip it into the masking fluid and then wash again in the soapy water. This works quite well for many artists. If you're a little bit more worried about your brush, you can rub it directly into some soap first. Then dip into the masking fluid, and then you can either wash it out in clean water or soapy water. If you're enjoying this content, join our channel community where I upload valuable tips and tricks where the video itself didn't quite make it, but the tip sure does. If you're using other tools that don't have any hairs attached, you can allow the masking fluid to dry and then just peel it off. Masking fluid does a whole lot better with silicone tools like this one from Rosemary & Co. or a dip nib, or little dental devices like I'm showing in my previous video. This is an interdental flosser. Or you might like to use items like cotton tips and even a piece of rope. Check out my video up here and see how these tools are fantastic tools to use. I'm also using a bamboo fork. Now see how this bamboo fork has some residual masking fluid on it. We can easily clean this by rubbing the fork on the cement rubber eraser. And look, now it can all be easily removed. It'll just peel off after the cement rubber eraser has grabbed onto it. But that's because it's not made of hairs. There we go. And when you're using something like a piece of rope, you can simply cut that piece off and start fresh. My dip nib is dry now, so I can easily just peel off the masking fluid like that. Really easy. Use disposable items like paper or plastic. Otherwise, your brush may look like this. There you have it. Now I believe we have one more important experiment to perform, and that is there a difference between applying masking fluid and drying it with heat versus letting it dry naturally? So here we have masking fluid on one side, and I'll put it again on this side. And I'm going to allow one to dry naturally. I'll make them as equal as possible. I perhaps should have cut this earlier, but I'm going to cut it now so that one will be heat dried and air dried. All right, so we can leave the air dried one alone. I'll put it to one side, and I'm going to use my hairdryer on this one. But you know, lots of people these days use heat guns, and heat guns are hotter. I have one here because I wanted to experiment for myself. I'm using the low setting. This one has 2 settings, and see what happens. As you can see, the thinner parts have certainly dried. This thicker bit, well, I'll just do a little bit more. Okay, so my air dried one is still completely wet. I'm going to come back to this and we'll just see if there's anything different in removing them. It's now been several minutes later and I've come back to my 2 specimens here, and I will go for the air dried one first. So I'm lifting it up with the rubber cement eraser, and then I'll just move that out of the way. And I'm able to peel off the whole, hopefully. Wow, that all came off in one foul swoop, which is great. I'm feeling the paper and it feels a little damp. So I'm very lucky I didn't cause any damage. The fluid was put on a little bit thick, so you have to be careful. Okay. Not much difference there at all. Well, that satisfies my curiosity. It's really important that you do your own testing. Test your masking fluid, paper and heating device. Also, if the masking looks and feels dry, feel the back of the paper too to make sure it's not damp to prevent any tearing. The other thing that came up also was the fact that masking fluid can lift paint. Yes, it can. So I wonder if you can see that slightly lighter area there where the masking fluid was. It's a little bit lighter. So in that case, you'd have to wet it and reapply the colour. Now here's a special little treat. I received a comment from CMW, his artist, who suggested that if you don't use masking fluid often, you can always turn it upside down and it'll prevent it from drying. Thanks for that. I love tips and tricks. Now back to my finest brushes. Well, these were actually made on purpose for special effects, and you guessed it, the secret ingredient to make them permanent was masking fluid. If you don't want to take the chance with your brushes, see this video up here on permanent masking fluid, which is totally opposite to this one. It does not come off the paper, but it comes out cleanly out of your brush.